quick intro to getting started with Legions, and this is going to be geared towards people with tribes or mid-air experience. So you get the download from legionsoverdrive.com, and then once it's not very big, once you've got that downloaded, you'll have a file like this. You want to click on launcher.exe, and you'll start up the launcher. Mine one is ready to play right away. Yours will have to do some extra downloading and compiling and computery things. So once that's done, you'll get full green on both lines and you're ready to play. So this is a kind of community run launcher, so there is a fair bit of jank to it, but it's what we got, and once you get used to it, it works pretty well. Just doesn't like alt tabbing and stuff. So you can give yourself a name in the bottom right over here, and then hold on, let me make sure that's gone. If you're gonna be, I recommend not running it in full screen because it doesn't seem to like being alt tabbed. So I usually run it in Windows and just maximize the size. So first thing you want to do is go to your options. Oh yeah. Once you change the shape of it, everything kind of moves. I don't know how to explain it, but like if you can see my mouse, I'm about 5 inches to the right. So I don't recommend messing with the size. Yeah, I'm actually going to close it to fix that. I don't recommend messing with the size while you're until you're in game, in which case it won't matter. So let's start that again. That was a good learning experience. So anyhow, set your name, go to options. Now the options can be a little tricky. They don't like to stay for some reason on some of them. Like you can see in the options I'm in right now, there's no apply button. So sometimes people don't have a problem with this, but sometimes they do. Like you'll change your mouse speed here. That's your sensitivity. You'll change your FOV, and it won't stick. So in that case, I usually like if you're gonna change FOV or mouse speed, after doing that, go to this and volume. Your volume is in here as well. Go to video options and hit apply. And for some reason, that just seems to work for me to keep those options stuck on. So the things you'll change in this first section are your FOV, mouse speed, of course. You can mess with the volume, health warning sound. I've turned that off. Overdrive notify sound, turn that off. They're just little beeps when your health gets low. I would recommend hit notify sound in chat messages. Toggle zoom is kind of messed up, and there's a couple quick chat voices to go through, but those don't really matter. So for HUD options, I'm not sure what's in here. You want to see the clock, low health glow. I don't even know what that is. I don't really mess with the HUD. There's all kinds of configs that you can do to really spec out your HUD, but it's not super necessary. Video options. So again, don't do don't do full screen. I can't even see show first person weapon. I didn't even know that was a thing. I would turn foliage off. I don't know if light maps work, but that just makes all the maps kind of like the texture is really basic. And turn off, I would recommend turning off use bright motion trails. And show own motion trails, I would turn those off. I'm sorry, use bright motion trails, keep that on. That's going to help you see enemies a lot clearer. I would recommend turning off show own motion trails. I am going to leave those on just for this demo, just to see, so it helps the viewer see kind of the way I'm moving. And so we'll do that as well. And I don't know, you don't really need to mess with that other stuff. So make sure you hit apply after you've made any changes off of that. And then the other options we want to do is key bindings. So default key bindings for Legions is, compared to a Tribes game, the right click is going to be your hover / hover button, or ski as some people know it. and then space is actually so like holding right click and then hitting space is going to make you jet up. So that's kind of the opposite that tribes players might be used to, where they would hold space to ski and then right click would be their jet up. If you're coming from tribes or midair, I recommend changing it to what you're used to. If this is your first time playing any sort of tribes or midair or legions type of game, I find this to be a little bit more intuitive the legions way, because I'm used to space bar making me go up. And, it's the space bar for gliding in tribes is kind of a holdover from the jumping glitch to ski days, which isn't really a thing anymore, so don't worry about it. So anyhow, your jump jet up is here. So if you're a tribes guy, you could change that over to right click. The important thing is jet down, which is default left shift, and I'll go over what that means in a little bit. But this is hugely important for Legion, so make sure you have that bound to something that you'll use. I find left shift works really well for that in Legions. And then activate core is the other one that's going to be important for you. And of course, throw flag, throw grenade. So we have hand grenades. Max throw flag is also really useful so both for nades and flags. There you can kind of charge it up. So max throw flag I use very, very often, because usually you're throwing that in a panic and you don't really have time to charge it up. But I also have not max throw flag when I want to just like kind of spit the flag out right in front of me. That's usually the only two use cases I do. I either like drop it right in front of me, or I'll do a max throw. Don't worry about observer keybinds. And again, these keybinds might be a little janky too. Not staying. They should be okay to stay. You see, I don't even have max throw grenade bound. I never use that. They should be okay to stay, but if for some reason, or just to be sure, instead of just exiting out after you do these keybinds, go to back and go to like video options and hit apply again. And again, it may be superstitious, but I find that usually works for me. So it's, the size is kind of messed up, but that doesn't matter. So again, I'm not making it bigger yet, just because I don't want to, now that I'm clicking menu options, I don't want to screw things up. Once I get in game, I'll make it bigger. So we got 3 servers up. We're going to open up the public one, click it and join game. And I'm going to wait till I load in to maximize it, because I don't want it to crash. But now that I'm loaded in, I'm going to just do a maximize like that. And now I'm ready to go. And again, you could see my the real position of my cursor is like 3 inches to the left of where my screen is showing it, but you can just hit escape to get out of this menu. So you can play obviously in first person or third. I actually find third person for this game very useful, and I actually started that's the way I started when I originally started playing Legions. So I always play on third person in Legions, even though like when I try to play tribes or midair, I don't play in third person. I am gonna make this screen just a little bit smaller so I can show you guys. And I know this isn't gonna look too good on video, but whatever, I'm trying to get this done quickly. I want to have my screen up that shows what buttons I'm pushing, so you should be able to see that in the left. So the big thing in Legions, I'm going to change the map here real quick. T to chat, I think, is default. We have a janky chat bot to do. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is set up your class. So I'm pretty sure you can only do this from in-game. So hit escape and go to loadouts. The loadouts are also very janky, kind of clues together. So there's 3 classes. There's Outrider, which is your light, Radar is a medium, and Sentinel is heavy. So the way that normal CTF in Legions is, it's kind of a hybrid between base and LT. meaning there's no base assets, but there's always 3 classes available on spawn. So you spawn in your weight class and with your weapons. So sometimes when we play, we'll all agree like lights only, or we'll agree no heavies, which is Sentinel. But when we have enough players, we play, you know, with all 3. But Outrider is far and above the most used. Usually the games will be all Outrider and then 1 heavy, 1 Sentinel on each team to play heavy on flag. But the Outrider has much more mobility. So you can see the bright motion trails can get kind of annoying, especially when you're going in your own motion trails can get annoying, especially when you're going like in an angle where they show up right in front of the screen. I guess if you're in first person, it really doesn't matter about your motion trails. So the key, there's 2 key things in Legions that they kind of tried to innovate on the tribes genre. So wait, I'm not there yet. I'm still on loadouts. Okay, loadouts. Set your weight class. You get 2 weapons with Outrider, and I recommend you do use Outrider. With the medium class, you'll get 3, and I just had to change maps, so we need 1 second. Rocket launcher and chain are ubiquitous. That's what you're going to want when you're playing Outrider. There are a lot of other cool weapons that you can use to ignore repair gun right now, and then Outriders can't get a mortar. So the chain is that's not going to run out, but and now you make your changes, and then you've got 3 hand grenade options: boost, frag, and EMP. So the boost is what you may be familiar with if you've played Tribes 1. You can combo with it. You can shoot, which means like you can shoot it in the air. It also affects flags, and it moves people around. The frag grenade is a bigger radius, explosion radius than the boost grenade, but you can't shoot it. You can't be interacted with. And then the EMP grenade, same kind of mechanic, but you throw it out and it saps the enemy's energy for a couple seconds. So again, most people use the boost grenade just because it allows you that movement, and I'll show you what I mean if you're not familiar. So this is a boost grenade, and I usually I don't even have max throw button for it. So if you see, if I hold that throw button down, there's a loading bar in the bottom. But this grenade is very, very forgiving for combos, much more easy to do than, let's say, Tribes 1. So the hitbox is very large, and with a little practice, you'll be able to reliably hit combos, as I missed that one. But it's very useful for moving when you need to. You know, if you're stuck somewhere without, you're in the air and you need to change directions, and you can't rocket jump or something, it's very easy to pull off combos. So anyhow, the out of bounds grid kills you in this game as well. Okay, so when you set up your route, when you set up your thing, and we're just gonna, these are the cores, I'll go over these in a bit, but let's just do Overdrive. You need to name your class. So you see I have a bunch of just test ones we're showing people, but we'll name this test video, and then make sure you hit save, and then select that one, and then respawn, and you'll respawn with that class. So I've got rocket first and chain second. The chain is not as strong as, say, midair, and it overheats. You can see the reticle is loading up with orange, and once it overheats, you have a kind of cooldown period. And as it overheats, and it takes a while to cool down. As it overheats, it gets less and less accurate. And it does respond to speed. So if you're going fast, it overheats a lot slower. You can see as I'm going 180, it doesn't even overheat at all. So if you're going to be chasing, that's definitely necessary to have a chain gun out to just get that reach on the players. The rocket launcher, or disc, which is synonymous with the disc launcher, it reloads very quickly. The grenade launcher is also pretty powerful, but you know, it's rare that you'll do grenade launcher disc or grenade launcher chain instead of rocket launcher chain. Anyhow, so that's how you do your loadouts. So the core mechanic, there's two core mechanics in Legion's innovations that, and I'll go over them one at a time. So the first one we talked about before when we're setting our keybinds is Downjet. So imagine you've got, is this showing anything naughty? Just want to make sure I'm not showing you guys my name or something. Okay, imagine you've got, you know, your normal Legions guy, or I'm sorry, your normal Tribes guy. And the way to get speed with him is just with the force of gravity, right? Which is a constant. So you'll go up a hill, and then falling down a hill is just where you're going to get that acceleration from gravity. Here, let me move our hill. What Downjet allows you to do, and it's pretty intuitive once you get the hang of it. What Downjet allows you to do is add more downforce. So it's just like, you know, your upjet makes you go up, you jet to the side, it makes you aside. This one, imagine you've got your thrusters pushing you down as well. And you regain energy pretty quickly in Legions. So if this is your hill that you're trying to shoot off of, and you don't want to burn like all your energy with your downjet, but you have plenty of time to feather your downjet while going down this hill, and you'll be good. You'll be fine. You know, you'll regain most of your energy while you get through here, and you'll be good to jet up over here. So what it allows you to do is really milk every ounce of speed. You know, see as you're going through this flat area, relatively flat area right here. You know, in a game like Midair, none of these hills are really anything to speak of. You might not even notice that there's little hills in here, but in Legions, you can hop through this and maintain speed. You know, not great as if you're hitting like a big hill out there, but you can keep it going if you can use the little hills just right and maintain like 100 speed through there, and actually, you know, speed up in a ways. So if I go through this same little sequence of hills without using Downjet at all, let's see like what speed I get to, and always hold W while you're doing midair. So I'm hovering around 66 here. I could have maybe hopped off some of those hills and avoided going up the uphills. But let's do that again using Downjet. This video is gonna be way too long. So if you do that again doing Downjet, and I'll kind of, it doesn't show up on my screen, but I'll show you right down. So I'm gonna Downjet a little here. I'm gonna Downjet through this. I'm gonna Downjet off this little hill here, and you see I got up to 80, and I wasn't even doing that very well. So you add another 20 speed just by doing some good Downjets. So that's really going to make a difference when you're really doing your routes. You see I got up to 90 there. So get used to Downjet. You should be using that all the time. As you see in Legions, if you look at my energy bar at the top, you regen very quickly. You regen your energy very quickly. So a lot of the really fun thing about Legions is kind of dogfights in the air. It's not a lot of AD on the ground, like Midair, for example, or Tribes Ascend. It's a lot of bobbing and weaving while in the air. You can see I can have a good amount of air time and a good amount of control going back and forth in the air, even throwing some down jets in there to juke you out. So it's the fights in this game are mostly about doing touch and goes, getting some shots in, popping back behind, making sure you do that touchdown at the right time when your enemy isn't able to punish you with a ground pound for it. Oh, by the way, these are ammo stations. They're always ammo stations on every map. They always look like this, and you just walk up next to them and you'll get full everything. You hear the click when it works. So usually when you're fighting, those are good to know because you can be and you can use the enemy ammo stations, and it's very simple. Okay, so that's the Downjet and a little bit about energy management. Oh, one more thing about legions is, contrary to like tribes or midair, always hold W, and it's not as maybe makes sense in the real world, but holding side jets isn't going to punish you for your vertical at all. And that's not very good English, but like let's say I want to go straight up, which, you know, in midair you're like, okay, good, I'm using all of my energy to go straight up. All right, so that gets me about maybe 5 player models above that thing. Now let's say I want to go up and to the side. So I'm going to hold left, I'm going to hold up and right at the same time. Whoops, and hold on. I'm going to hold up, space up and right at the same time. I'm not going to hold forward. You actually get to the same height, if you notice. So it didn't punish me like midair does for holding a directional key while going up. And again, maybe that doesn't make sense physically, but that's the way this game is. So, you know, in midair, if you're from a standstill and you want to get to the top of that base, you kind of either want to start walking and then use that momentum to pull you forward. You know, I didn't hold W at all there. Or you want to maybe jet straight up and feather forward. In this game, you can just go straight there. So just hold W and you can just go straight there and you don't get punished by your height at all. Okay, so the other key mechanic is Overdrive, which was the original core in the game. So Overdrive is, you can see at the top it says velocity warning. When you get to 88 units per whatever, 88 speed, you get that velocity warning pop up on the top, and that means overdrive, you're going fast enough for overdrive. So if you see if I go down to below 88, I lose that overdrive warning. And the way to engage that is by, you have to be touching the ground or a surface. So you can do it off, you know, any surface up here. And I don't have enough speed for it. The way to engage it is by hitting R. And what that does is sends you into overdrive mode, where you see I'm bleeding health, but I'm maintaining speed in almost any direction. So you get almost full range of motion or full freedom of movement while doing that. So you can see I can turn back and do a 180, again at the cost of health. So this is really, really useful to use, and when the game, for a good long time, this was the only core in the game, and I'll go over the other cores. But you know, imagine, let's say there's imagine there's a scrum down there, and you can just hop down, get the flag. Even from here, with using Downjet, you can get up to 88 very easily and hop down there, grab the flag, and then hop back up. Something like that. This map specifically that we're on was built around the overdrive mechanic. We don't really play this map very much in Pugs, and I'll explain why when we talk about the other cores. But overdrive makes it very useful for capping. So a lot of Legion's capping is just spamming front routes and coming in with your overdrive and, oh, someone else is in here, coming in with your overdrive and just 180ing back out. And you see I was able to do that with only use half health. So, you know, if you don't get hit while you're doing that, you're golden. Oh, also you regen health in Legions when you're on the ground and your jets aren't activated. So if you see my jets are activated, I'm still at 80%. If I let go, I'm going to regain health pretty quickly. So that's a key mechanic for cappers, and you can get really creative with it. Took a little fall damage here, but like you can come in at any sort of weird angle and, you know, I'm probably going to miss, but like come in through the back and come out through the front. Again, this map was really built around that mechanic. So use that to your advantage when trying to juke out the defense. It doesn't really increase speed. So like if I'm just trying to go quickly here, you know, it doesn't really speed me up. You see it kind of maxes out at a 140. So don't use it just on flat ground to run away or something like that. You really need to use it in some sort of, you know, juking maneuver. And you only need to tap R once and then let go. And then if you want to disengage, there's like a minimum time to use it. Like you can't use it in short bursts, but when you want to disengage, just let go of your skis. Um, and it will disengage. Like, you don't have complete control. Like, if I try to go straight up, you kind of stall out, and it'll stall out on its own. So you can't go super crazy with it. You kind of need to. You'll have to get used to that sweet spot of like turning too much. Like, if I do this and I'm just like turning all around, you know, you'll fall up out of it. So you'll get used to that sweet spot. So the other cores in this game, and the other one that's used the most is boost. So we'll make a new class here, and I'm going to change the core to the boost core. And I'll go over what all these other cores do, but let's do boost first. So we'll do video boost. Make sure you save it. There it is. Select it and respawn. And I'll show you why these other cores kind of break this map. So you can see the pack on my back just turned light blue. And this is like you might know from midair or tribes. It just, when you hit your R button or whatever your core button is, it gives you an immediate boost of speed at the cost of some health. So that did about 20 damage. And you'll notice quickly about boost, it doesn't go where you're looking. It boosts you in the direction of your momentum. So you see I'll go over here and I'm going towards the enemy flag. And if I for some reason look right or backwards and then boost, it still boosts me towards the enemy flag. So that does take a little getting used to. I'm not sure exactly how that works in midair or normally in tribes games. So boost is very often used, and you know, I'll show you in this map. You can go basically base to base with the boost core and like 1 or 2 nade hops. So it kind of makes this map a little ridiculous. So sometimes when we play this map, we'll do overdrive only. But most chasers and even cappers will use boost to get out after cappers. You know, if you're a chaser, just to get out after cappers very quickly. It's usually a better trade-off health for speed than like a rocket launcher. And then cappers will also use boost when they're doing, you know, some 250, 300 routes or something like that. Okay, so the other cores are regen, not used as much, or not used very much at all, just because, you know, you get automatic health. Every class has automatic health regen. But this will, when you hold it down, it'll regen you faster. I think it burns some energy. Warp core is, yeah, I have a warp test right here. This is kind of interesting for capping, but what it does is, I don't know if there's any similarities to this in tribes, but it creates like a rift that you go through and then teleports you back through it. So you can see that is a rift I made. So let me make that a little more clear. So like it transports you to where you were 2 seconds ago. So I'll stand in this corner and then it transports me back to that corner. And anybody can hop. It folds up in like 3 seconds or 5 seconds, but anybody can hop into that warp core, and even you, and get spit back out of it with the same speed that you had, same like velocity, so speed and direction that you had when you went into that warp core. So I don't really use it that much, so I'm not very effective with it, but it can be used kind of interestingly for cap routes to juke defenders, where you're coming in and maybe you'll engage it here. Oh, I engaged too early, but you get the point. You engage it maybe before you're coming in and then purposely miss the flag, and then, you know, the defender's looking for you behind them, and then you get, you know, warped back right in front of the flag. So let's see if I can do this a little better. So I'll engage it now. Yeah, I'm doing it all wrong, but you get the picture. So you can use that for like interesting cap routes and stuff. Shield core is pretty self-explanatory. It puts a shield around you. You take like only 5% or 10% of damage that you normally would at I think it's at the cost of energy. We talked about boost. Dodge is broken. Don't use it unless you're a piece of shit. But I think there's one of these in midair too. It just kind of pops you over to a different direction. It doesn't cost health or energy. It has a slight, oh, it does use some energy, but you regen energy so quickly that doesn't really matter. And you can use it during the flag, which I think is stupid. So that's just kind of used for dodging around. And then last one would be engineer. I think that one's probably broken. Yeah, that one's disabled. We did messed around with base assets in this game, but it's all been disabled because it's too buggy. So that's about it. The chain gun is, there's a laser rifle in the game. That's the only hit scan weapon. The heavies are interesting because they get, here I'll put on this one, you get instant OD as a heavy. This is the only class that has this. So it's kind of a different mechanic than the normal overdrive mechanic, but you just get like this burst of OD whenever you want it. It has a, actually it has a very slight cooldown. So that's really useful for playing heavy on flag because, here, it has like a big range around it, and it'll push players away. So as you see, he's standing right here. It'll move players off of their flag. So you don't even really need to body block them directly. It'll send them moving off the flag. So you can very easily kind of fling them off of their routes. And no other class can do that. OD is also inherited. So if you're playing like light on flag for some reason and an enemy comes in and they try to OD through you, you can actually pick up their OD even if you're not moving 88 miles, 88 units, whatever. And let me try to body block, show you a body block. You can pick up their OD and get chasing after them. So again, this usually we'll play with no heavies unless we have enough. If you're doing like 5v5, we'll play with no heavies. If we're doing more, we'll have like one heavy. They also have a mortar. Oh, I didn't mean to overdrive there. I keep hitting reload because I'm used to. Oh yeah, there's no reload in this game. You just have 20 rockets, 5 hand nades. I do use frag grenade on the heavy because there's no point in boosting. All right, so let me just. So this is also really useful for like flag grabbing and stuff, or for passing around. I thought it was gonna come in again. I keep reloading. I'm gonna screw that up a lot. Yeah, there is also first person. So Ninja, if you're listening, come in and do a route real quick. I just want to show, just do an over the top route. I just want to show how easy it is to block. Oh shit, I wasn't ready. I'll just show the effectiveness of the heavy real quick. So what you want to do, because I doubt if you're new, you'll be playing heavy on flag. What you want to do is OD early. So his overdrive will beat my overdrive. So like I didn't even hit the body block there, but that OD has like a radius of like 4 people. So Ninja, do that again and just overdrive early, like overdrive off of the wall, and I'll show like your overdrive will beat mine, and I won't be able to push him out of the way. Let me try to see where he's coming. So yeah, I think you know what I mean. Just like try to engage your overdrive over that front wall. So I wasn't able to push him away because he engaged first. He pushed me out of the way. Okay, so that's it. Join the Discord and join the Pug on Saturday. Discord.gg/legions. And we hope to see you there. And if you can, donate to the Australian bushfires and whatnot, because that's good gaming for a cause and whatnot. All right, that's it. Hit me up on Discord or Twitch or whatever if you have any more questions.